This is episode 2 of building the UUID generator. The point of this video is going to be styling this page and making it look awesome, hopefully. So the first thing I want to do is fix up some issues that I noticed when I was editing episode 1. I put a lot of the HTML attributes in the icon where I actually want those attributes to be part of the button. So for example, I'll do the click area described by. So I don't want the tooltip to be inside of the button. I want the tooltip to be outside of the button. So let me just make sure that that still works. And yeah. And the next thing that I noticed was we had the HTML for UUID here, but we haven't really connected it to the label. So I'm going to actually get rid of the screen reader only to show you what I mean. And so this is the label, this UUID. And if I click this, it should select the input, but it doesn't right now. So what I need to do is set the ID equals UUID here. And then now when I select this input, it will when I select the label, it will select the input. So that's what I want ultimately. And I'll hide that with the screen reader only class name. I think we are pretty much set up to start styling this thing and making it look awesome. All right, so how do we want to do this? I think I want to make this dark mode by default here. So maybe let me say BG gray, and maybe let me try 800. I'll do text white. And then I want a little panel here where all of the functionality is going to reside. So just copy all of this and put it in this panel here. Maybe BG gray 900. And then I want this to just be centered. So I'm going to say flex justify centered and then item center. This will just vertically center and horizontally center it. Let me try height screen. Then I think I want to do a little bit of padding. So I'll say P5, maybe a little bit of shadow here. I might want this to be the lighter shade and this to be the darker shade. Let's fix this input here. And then this should probably be BG, what does 700 look like? I do want this to be monospace font. I want this to show the full width. Let's see, let's do a little padding on the top and bottom. I did want the button to sit to the side here of this. So I have the flex box and then we will just vertically center. It looks like it's already pretty vertically centered, but we'll do that. And then I think on this button here, we're going to do a little, maybe give it a little bit of margin here or padding. Let me do a background color just so I can see what the padding is here. Yeah, so I definitely want the padding to be consistent with the input. You see how there's this outline it's being covered? I don't want that. I actually want the outline to show up all the way around. Focus outline none, if I do that. And so then now that gets rid of the outline there. And then when this full div here, when this thing focuses, pop that in right there. And that is pretty much what I'm going for here. What I would like is to fix this button. And then I'm going to do a nice white background. Black text, bold, full width. Let me give it a little bit of margin from the input. A little bit of padding here. Let's say maybe 2. I might want these corners to be rounded here. Then I think this needs to be rounded left. The button needs to be rounded right. That gives us the nice rounded corner. And then we'll fix that tooltip. I guess this would be relative because we're going to do some absolute positioning on this tooltip. And so we'll say absolute, just hard code this to true because I just want it to always show up. I think I'm going to make the background white. Text will be black. I would like to do the little triangle. All right, so here is an example of doing this with Tailwind. I'm just gonna have like a span for the triangle. I'll do a div here. We'll do the absolute here, and then I guess the BG white we can do here. All right, so we got a triangle. The border will be white. I know I want to make this aria hidden because this is just the triangle. It's not really a valid markup. It's just for styling. And then I guess this would be like right 0, top 12. I think I need to make this a div, and maybe this should be a div too. Maybe let me make my triangle green 500 just so I can easily see where it is at all times. Maybe I need to just set like an explicit width. There we go, width 1, MX auto. I think I want this to be like negative right. And then this should be like maybe 9. Let me change the green back to a white. Let's give this some rounded corners, some padding, and that's it's gonna mess up our absolute positioning, but that's fine. So I gotta adjust this now, so I'll try 7. What I'm gonna do instead is a little bit of headless UI. I'm going to do the transition component, and then we will show it now when it's copied. We'll be looking for my transition objects. And if you're interested in these headless UI transitions, I have a article that has all of these transitions that are easy to copy and paste. So I'll link in the description so you can check that out. But I think I want the fly from top transition because I want it to kind of slide in from the top. All right, so it is a little bit wonky because of this. So let me say top 0 maybe 3.5. It's pretty good. Let me do a little shadow XL on this. And then I think I want this to have a little bit of a smaller text. I want the full panel to be rounded. Okay, and so then I also wanted the button to have a little bit of style when you hover it. I just want it to go to be, maybe I'll do 600 here. I think I want this to show up a little bit below the input altogether. So just like, yeah, just something like that. I don't want it to overlap with the input. And so I think that looks better. Let's deal with these radio buttons. I guess what I'll do is I'll wrap these in a div, except for I don't think I need flex row here. So I'm just gonna take that out. I want them to be evenly spaced. Yeah, so let's do like BG white for now, text black, rounded, and then width full. So first of all, let me give it a little bit of space between here. So then text center. And then I wanted this to have some space in between. So I'm gonna say space X2. Let's give it a little bit of top bottom padding. I'll assume that UI not active means it's not selected. And then if it is selected, so say UI not active, and then UI active, well, let's try a different color. So I'm going to say primary 500, or I'll say 600, and then UI active text white. And so then another thing that I would like to do here is on hover, I would like the pointer to be a cursor. And this just makes it so that it feels more like a button. And I think, okay, so active is basically like you're clicking it. But what I want is UI checked. I think I want the background to always be white and the text to always be black. So I'm going to take these out, and then instead, if it's checked, I will give it a ring, and UI checked, I'll give it a ring primary, 500. We'll see. We'll try that. I want this to kind of sit in the back a little more. So I'm going to say text small, color of like and maybe 400. So I actually might want to go ahead and make the input size here to be maybe extra large. So we got that. Let's try 3 here. Let's do the title. And for this, let's put it in the center with font bold, and then text, let's say 3 extra large. 4 extra large. Let me try taking the thing to the left. Let me make this a block element, and let me give it some margin. I feel like the white button is like the primary button, and these I feel like with all the buttons being white, it's too many white buttons. So I think what I'm going to do is make it so that the radio buttons are not white. So I'm going to take this out, and then the text should be white. So I'm just going to take this out. And then, let's see. I guess the background could be like gray 600 maybe. And then what is the background? See, it's 800. So what if I made it 700? I think that looks a little better. This is the primary button, so I want this to be very, very obvious. And then let me see what this looks like at 100. So this would be like how big it would be when it's not fully zoomed in, which to me it looked a lot better zoomed in. I'm gonna make everything a little bit bigger here. I think in the next iteration of this, I would like to go back here where we commented out V3 and V5 and enable this feature, which would make it so that the user could get a deterministic UUID. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.